You can't think like the poor and live like the rich. Most people want wealth, but they think in survival, they act in emotion, and they spend in confusion. They hope money will fix their problems, when in truth, it only magnifies who they are. The secret of the rich isn't luck, it's philosophy. They learned how to make money serve them instead of control them. And until you master that shift, no paycheck, no promotion, no bonus will ever be enough. Most people spend 40 years chasing money and never stop to ask why they never catch it. They work harder, yet feel poorer. They earn more, yet save less. They're surrounded by opportunity, yet trapped by their own habits. And it's not because the world is unfair, it's because their philosophy about money is, see, the poor chase money like it's running away. The rich attract it because they understand what it truly responds to: discipline, vision, and purpose. Money doesn't flow to need, it flows to order. It moves from the undisciplined to the disciplined, from the confused to the clear, from the emotional to the educated. Let me tell you something about the way money truly works. It's not loyal to effort, it's loyal to value. I used to believe that if I worked harder, I'd make more money. I thought more hours meant more dollars. But then I learned the truth. Money doesn't pay you for time. It pays you for the value you bring during that time. You can work 10 hours a day digging holes, or 1 hour designing a system that helps 100 people dig better. The market doesn't care how tired you are, it cares how useful you are. That's when I realized the goal isn't to work for money. The goal is to work to become valuable, because once you do, money starts working for you. When I was a young man, I had a mentor who told me, if you want to earn more, become more. At first, I didn't understand it. I thought he meant get a better job or more degrees. But what he really meant was grow your skills, sharpen your mind, deepen your understanding. See, the market doesn't pay you what you want. It pays you what you're worth. And your worth is determined by the problems you can solve, the ideas you can create, and the impact you can make. The rich don't chase money. They attract it through the value they deliver. So, how do you build that value? You start by studying your craft until you stand out. Read, observe, ask questions. Learn from those who are better than you. Don't just do the job, understand the system. Learn how everything connects. Become so good that people look for you, not the other way around. That's when opportunities begin to show up uninvited. Then, don't stop at solving small problems. The marketplace pays according to the size of the problem you solve. The man who solves one person's problem earns a wage. The man who solves a nation's problem builds wealth. If you can make life easier, faster, or better for others, you'll never have to worry about money again. Value is the magnet, and money is the metal. And finally, make a habit of asking yourself every day, how can I make myself more valuable to the marketplace? Don't ask for an easier life. Ask for more ability. Don't ask for lighter burdens. Ask for broader shoulders. The difference between a $10 an hour person and a $10,000 an hour person is not time, it's transformation. The rich don't trade their hours, they trade their ideas, their expertise, their vision. The secret is this: stop working for money. Start working on yourself. When you become more, you earn more. Not because you're luckier, but because you've earned the right to command more. Remember, money is not the goal, it's the consequence of the value you bring to others. Build value, and wealth will follow quietly behind. One of the most powerful lessons I ever learned about wealth was this: if your money stops when you stop, you'll always be a slave to the clock. Most people work for their income. They trade their hours, their sweat, their energy, and when they stop, the money stops too. That's a dangerous game because time is the one thing you can never buy back. But the wealthy, they play a different game. They buy freedom, not through possessions, but through systems. They make their money earn while they sleep. And that's the real secret to wealth. When your money starts working harder than you do. Early in my life, I had a job. I'd show up, get paid, go home. The paycheck felt good, but it vanished as quickly as it came. Then one day, my mentor asked me a question that changed everything. He said, "What happens to your income when you take a week off?" I laughed and said, "It stops." He smiled and said, "Then you don't own your income, your boss does." That hit me like lightning. He went on to say, the rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. That's when I began to study the difference between earned income and passive income. See, earned income is what you get when you show up. Passive income is what you get when your ideas, your systems, your assets show up for you. The key is to convert a portion of what you earn into something that earns for you. That's the bridge between survival and freedom. So, start small. Save to invest, not to spend. Don't let your money sleep idly in your account. Put it to work. Buy or build assets that keep producing, real estate that pays rent, stocks that pay dividends, businesses that pay royalties, or digital systems that run even when you rest. I remember the first time I invested a small sum into an idea that made me money while I slept. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make me realize the power of leverage, the kind of leverage that doesn't exploit people but amplifies potential. It taught me that every dollar is a little employee, and just like any good employer, your job is to give those employees meaningful work. Idle dollars are wasted soldiers. Working dollars multiply. The key is discipline. When you make a profit, don't spend it celebrating, reinvest it. Let your profits produce more profits. Because the poor increase expenses when income rises, but the wealthy increase investments. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to be free. The day your money works harder than you, you've crossed the line from earning a living to building wealth. So ask yourself tonight, if you stopped working today, how long would your income last? If the answer is not long, then it's time to start building the kind of assets that keep the lights on when you turn yours off. Because real wealth isn't measured by how much you earn, it's measured by how long you can live when you stop earning. When I was young and broke, I thought the secret to wealth was making more money. I used to tell myself, if only I could double my income, I'd finally be free. But as time went on, I realized something that shook me. It wasn't about how much I earned, it was about how much I kept. I've seen people making $50,000 a year and living with peace, and others making $500,000 and drowning in debt. Why? Because no amount of income can outpace undisciplined spending. Wealth doesn't start with abundance, it starts with control. One of my earliest mentors told me, discipline is the seed of abundance. At first, I didn't understand it. I thought abundance meant having more. But what he meant was simple. If you can't control what you have now, more will only magnify the chaos. You can't manage 1,000,000 if you can't manage 100. The habit of wealth begins with restraint. Living on less than you earn isn't about deprivation, it's about design. It's about creating a gap, a margin between what comes in and what goes out. And that margin is where wealth hides. Every dollar you don't spend is a seed for your future. But most people eat the seed instead of planting it. They earn, they spend, and then wonder why nothing grows. You've got to learn to flip that order. Earn, save, then spend. Always save a fixed percentage before you touch a cent for lifestyle. Pay yourself first. Because if you wait to see what's left at the end of the month, there never will be anything left. I remember when I started doing this, it was only 10%. Some months, it hurt, but I treated it like rent for my future freedom. Eventually, 10% became 20%, and that habit became automatic. Before long, I realized something profound. Discipline buys peace of mind. I didn't have to worry about emergencies, about bills, or about missed opportunities. Why? Because I built margin, and that margin became my safety, my seed, and eventually my success. It's not the amount, it's the attitude. Start small. Track every dollar for 30 days. You'll be shocked at how much leaks out unnoticed. Plug those leaks. Keep your lifestyle 2 steps behind your income. When your income goes up, resist the temptation to inflate your spending. Most people upgrade their lifestyle instead of upgrading their future, and that's why they stay stuck, no matter how much they earn. Living below your means is not a sign of poverty, it's a sign of wisdom. It's a declaration that you are in control. Not your impulses, not society, not the ads trying to sell you the next shiny thing. Freedom doesn't come from earning more, it comes from needing less. So remember this truth. You can't escape financial pressure by adding income. You escape it by adding discipline. Live on less than you earn, always. Because when you master control over the small, life will trust you with the great. When I was younger, I made a mistake that nearly every ambitious person makes. I tried to look rich before I actually was rich. I bought things to impress people who weren't even paying attention. I thought success was the car in the driveway, the suit on my back, the watch on my wrist. But one day, I realized something that changed my financial life forever. The rich don't buy with labor, they buy with leverage. What does that mean? It means the wealthy don't use their time to buy toys, they use their assets. They let their money, their systems, and their investments pay for their lifestyle, not their hours. The poor say, I'll work hard to buy it. The rich say, I'll build something that buys it for me. It's a different way of thinking, a shift from consumption to creation. I remember wanting a new car years ago, not a necessity, just a luxury. Instead of rushing to the dealership, I asked myself a simple question. What could I build that would pay for this car without touching my main income? That one question became a principle I lived by. I didn't buy the car, I built an income stream that bought it for me. Months later, that small side investment was paying the car's monthly cost. And that was the moment I understood leverage. True wealth isn't about spending, it's about structuring. You see, if you buy luxuries with your labor, you stay trapped in the cycle. Every pleasure comes with pressure. But when you buy luxuries with leverage, you stay free. You enjoy the reward without the burden. The difference isn't the car, the home, or the watch. It's the foundation beneath it. So here's a rule that changed my life. Luxuries are purchased by assets only. That means before you buy what you want, build something that pays for it. When you see something you desire, a trip, a new home, a beautiful piece of art, don't just think, how can I afford it? Ask, what can I create that will buy this for me? That single question shifts your thinking from consumer to producer. And that's the mindset of wealth, turning wants into fuel for creation. Each desire becomes a goal, each goal becomes a project, and each project becomes an income stream. Over time, those streams merge into rivers, rivers that can fund your dreams without draining your time. The truth is, delayed gratification isn't about denying pleasure, it's about designing it. The rich aren't more disciplined because they like saying no, they say not yet until their money can say yes for them. And when that happens, Luxuries stop being liabilities. They become symbols of strategy. So don't buy luxuries, build them. Let your desires inspire creation, not consumption. Because when you build before you buy, you're not just collecting things, you're constructing freedom. When I was young and hungry for success, I was taught something simple but powerful. Take care of the goose that lays the golden eggs. At first, I thought that meant taking care of my business or my money. But I soon realized the goose wasn't my job or my investments. It was me, my health, my mind, my relationships. Those were the real sources of every golden egg I would ever collect. You see, some people get so busy chasing the golden eggs that they forget to feed the goose. They burn out their health, they sacrifice their peace, they neglect the people who love them, all in the name of success. But what good is the gold if you destroy the source? What good is the money if your mind is tired and your body can't enjoy it? The rich know this secret. You can't produce at your best if your foundation is cracking underneath you. I remember working with a man once who was brilliant, made more money in 1 year than most make in 10, but he never stopped. No rest, no reflection, no renewal. He thought success was about constant motion. Then one day, his body stopped before his ambition did. Stress, exhaustion, health, gone. And suddenly, all that money couldn't buy him back his strength. That's when I learned wealth without wellness is weakness. You have to protect your earning engine. Guard your time like treasure, because it is. Guard your mind like a fortress. Don't let negativity or distraction invade it. Guard your body, because your energy is your greatest investment. You can't run a marathon on empty fuel. Eat right, sleep enough, exercise daily. These aren't side habits, these are wealth habits. Because the richer you become in health and clarity, the better decisions you make in money and life. And don't forget relationships. The people in your life are part of your wealth portfolio too. You can't grow in isolation. Nurture your connections, your mentors, your family. They're the ones who will hold you steady when the market doesn't. No one wins alone, not in business, not in life. So, protect your goose. Build buffers, financial ones like emergency funds, mental ones like rest, and emotional ones like boundaries. If you don't recharge, you'll run out of charge. It's not weakness to rest, it's wisdom. A farmer doesn't harvest 365 days a year. He plants, he waters, and he waits. Because he knows the harvest only comes from balance. Here's what I want you to remember. Wealth is not built by intensity, it's built by endurance. It's not about sprinting, it's about staying in the game. So don't trade long-term capacity for short-term gain. Protect the goose. Feed it well. Let it rest. Because if you care for the source, the golden eggs will never stop coming. When I first started my journey toward financial independence, I quickly realized something simple. Money has its own language. And if you don't speak it, it slips through your fingers quietly, almost unnoticed. Many people work hard, earn well, and yet, somehow, it all vanishes, not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't understand the rules, the patterns, the vocabulary that money uses. Ignorance doesn't just cost you money. It costs you opportunities, security, and freedom. I remember a young man who worked tirelessly in his business. He brought in thousands every month, yet he was always stressed, always scrambling. When I asked him about his investments, his expenses, his cash flow, he shrugged. He simply didn't understand how money moved. That's when it hit me. Money rewards those who understand it and punishes those who don't. Just like any language, fluency comes from study, practice, and attention. So, here's the truth. If you want money to stay, grow, and work for you, you must learn its grammar, its vocabulary, and its rules. You must read financial books, study markets, understand cash flow, and grasp the basics of investing. Know the difference between assets and liabilities, understand interest, and learn how to make capital work while you sleep. Study people who've built wealth, not just their wins, but their strategies, their mistakes, and their mindset. Think of your financial statements as mirrors. They reflect your habits, decisions, and priorities. Don't ignore them. Learn to read them like a book. When you can interpret the language of money, you can anticipate its movement, direct it purposefully, and multiply it intelligently. The wealthy don't get rich by accident, they get rich by understanding. So invest in your financial literacy. Speak money fluently, and money will speak to you in return. When I first began building my financial life, I noticed a pattern among those who truly prospered. They didn't rely on a single paycheck, a single business, or a single client. Life is unpredictable, and anyone who puts all their eggs in one basket is playing a dangerous game. Dependence on one source of income creates stress, vulnerability, and limits growth. I remember early in my career, working long hours for a single employer, believing that loyalty and hard work alone would secure my future. Yet, one unexpected corporate change reminded me how fragile that path could be. That was the day I realized wealth is not just earned, it is designed. The wealthy understand that risk is real, but it can be managed through multiplication, not by doubling effort. They build streams of income that complement each other, some that require active work, others that flow passively, independent of daily effort. This doesn't mean overcomplicating life. It means creating balance. A side business, rental income, dividends, or royalties. Each adds stability and accelerates growth. I started small, mastering my primary skill, then gradually creating side opportunities that aligned with my expertise. Over time, these streams began to work together, reducing stress and amplifying results. The strategy is simple but profound. Focus first on mastering one primary income source. Once that foundation is strong, add complementary streams that leverage your time and capital. Reinvest returns to grow them, rather than letting your income vanish through consumption. Annually review your portfolio of income, prune what doesn't serve, nurture what multiplies, and maintain alignment with your long-term vision. Wealth is a river, not a single drop. Multiply streams, not stress, and you'll find security, freedom, and the power to focus on what truly matters in life. When I first started my journey toward financial independence, I noticed a curious truth. The loudest people rarely have the deepest wealth. Early on, I met young professionals eager to announce every little success. The car they bought, the bonus they received, the promotion they celebrated. Yet behind the noise, I saw stress, debt, and fleeting achievements. True wealth doesn't need applause. It thrives quietly. Money obeys focus, not attention-seeking. The rich understand this instinctively. They know that every moment spent explaining or proving themselves is a moment lost in building, learning, or compounding. Silence becomes a strategic ally. By keeping your financial actions private, you protect your momentum from envy, distraction, and premature judgment. I remember when I first invested in a small business on the side while working a full-time job, I told no one, not even close friends. Without the pressure of comparison, I could focus, iterate, and grow without external interference. When results eventually appeared, they spoke louder than any boast ever could. People noticed the outcome, not the chatter, and respect followed naturally. The practical approach is straightforward. Share knowledge and lessons learned, not your bank statements or lifestyle displays. Avoid the temptation to show off progress before it bears fruit. Let every action be deliberate, aligned with your long-term vision. Keep your goals and strategies private until your plan comes to life. Protect your focus and let the results, your financial independence, your growth, your freedom, do the talking. Wealth whispers, and if you listen carefully, it will teach you that quiet, consistent action always outperforms loud, fleeting spectacle. When I reflect on the journey to lasting wealth, one truth stands out above all. The final measure of riches is not the balance in your bank account, but the wisdom you pass on. True wealth multiplies when shared. I've witnessed countless talented individuals achieve great financial success, yet remain limited by their unwillingness to teach. Wealth grows in isolation, but it flourishes in community. The act of mentoring others forces you to clarify your thinking, refine your strategies, and test your principles under real-world scrutiny. I recall early in my career when I began sharing what I learned with colleagues and young entrepreneurs. At first, it seemed counterintuitive. Why give away knowledge that could make me more competitive? Yet, in teaching, I discovered that my understanding deepened. Explaining complex ideas forced me to organize my thoughts, anticipate challenges, and recognize gaps in my knowledge. Those I mentored began creating their own successes, which in turn opened opportunities for collaboration, partnership, and new streams of income. Teaching did not diminish my resources, it amplified them. The practical steps are simple but profound. Begin by sharing lessons with your family, your team, or your community. Write down your principles, strategies, and rules for wealth. Transform them into a guide that can outlive your immediate efforts. Encourage others to apply what you teach, watch them grow, and adjust your methods based on their results. Remember, the supply of wisdom is not finite. Every time you give knowledge, you reinforce it in yourself and expand its influence. Wealth is more than money. It's the ability to leave behind a legacy of understanding, freedom, and opportunity. Teaching others ensures your success echoes long after your own achievements, creating a ripple effect that compounds far beyond dollars. When it comes to wealth, patience is not just a virtue, it is the very foundation of lasting success. I have seen it countless times. Those who rush, eager for quick returns, often fall faster than they rise. True millionaires understand that money compounds like a fine wine, not like a sugar rush. Real wealth is built slowly, deliberately, and with unwavering consistency. It is the product of disciplined habits, repeated actions, and careful decisions made over years, not days. The shortcuts, the hype, the get-rich-quick schemes may dazzle for a moment, but they rarely sustain and often collapse under the weight of inexperience and impulsivity. I remember early in my career how I was tempted by fast money opportunities, ventures that promised instant profits with minimal effort. Each time I resisted, investing instead in skills, systems, and long-term ventures, I saw my foundation grow stronger. The truth is, money is neutral. It obeys principle, not panic. If you rush, you risk losing what could have been preserved and multiplied with time. Wealth, like a tree, requires planting, watering, and care over seasons. You can't speed sunlight or growth. You can only prepare the soil, nurture the roots, and patiently harvest when the time comes. Practically, this means saying no to offers that promise overnight riches, no matter how tempting they seem. Commit to a vision that spans years, a 10-year plan that guides every decision and expenditure. Measure your progress in months and years, not days or weeks, and celebrate small, consistent wins that compound over time. Treat time as your business partner, your silent investor, and your strongest ally. Let it work with you, not against you, and the wealth you create will endure. Wealth built slowly is wealth that lasts, grows, and becomes a legacy. Hurry only ensures it slips through your fingers. Risk is not the enemy of wealth, ignorance is. I've learned over the years that the people who succeed are not those who avoid risk entirely, but those who understand it and manage it wisely. The rich don't bet the farm on a hunch. They take calculated, measured steps, testing waters before diving in. Wealth grows when you're willing to step out of comfort, but it compounds when you step wisely. Small, informed risks can lead to enormous rewards over time, while reckless leaps often lead to avoidable loss. I remember my early ventures when I had little capital but plenty of curiosity. I didn't plunge all my resources into one idea. Instead, I experimented in small ways, testing markets, refining systems, learning from minor failures that cost little but taught a lot. Every small lesson built my confidence and skill, and each calculated step led to bigger opportunities. The principle is simple. Take risks that are small enough to survive, but big enough to teach and reward. Protect your capital, define your maximum acceptable loss, and treat every experiment as an investment in experience. The strategy of scaling gradually is powerful. Start with manageable commitments, measure results carefully, and double down only on what proves itself. By treating failure as feedback rather than catastrophe, you transform every setback into a stepping stone. The lessons you learn cheaply will save you from paying for mistakes expensively later. Remember, wealth is rarely created by a single bold gamble. It is the accumulation of disciplined, thoughtful risks that grow into opportunities. Test, measure, learn, and scale. That is how small beginnings can lead to monumental outcomes. Manage risk wisely, and your potential for reward multiplies quietly, steadily, and surely. Wealth is never an accident. It's a reflection of habits repeated over time. Success doesn't arrive overnight. It arrives daily, in the quiet moments when no one is watching. You don't become wealthy by luck. You become wealthy by design. Just as a business thrives on systems, audits, and accountability, so must your personal life. Most people want financial freedom, but few are willing to run their lives with the precision they demand from a company. Yet, that's exactly where wealth begins, when you stop living by impulse and start living by a financial operating system. Think about it. A successful business tracks every penny, reviews performance regularly, and adjusts strategy based on data, not emotion. The owner knows that if costs rise or productivity drops, something must change. But many individuals don't apply that same logic to their personal lives. They let money flow in and out without attention, unaware that small leaks sink big ships. Wealthy people, on the other hand, run their personal finances like CEOs. They know their cash flow, monitor their spending, and make every dollar accountable for results. When I started earning a decent income, I thought I was doing well until I realized that money was leaving faster than it arrived. That's when I began auditing my habits. I treated myself like a business under review. I asked, where's the waste? What's not producing results? Which habits build my future, and which drain it? The answers were uncomfortable, but they were the foundation of my growth. Every wasted hour, every impulsive expense, every untracked decision was quietly stealing from my wealth. When I took responsibility, everything began to change. To build wealth, you must make habit auditing a routine. Start by reviewing your spending and earning patterns weekly. Where is your money going? Does it align with your goals? Don't let this be a vague awareness. Write it down, review it, and question it like an investor would. Next, look beyond finances. Wealth is holistic. Audit your learning habits. How many hours a week do you invest in growth? How much time do you spend on distractions versus creation? Track it. Because what gets measured gets improved. Here's a principle I learned early. If you wouldn't tolerate it in business, don't tolerate it in life. A business can't afford waste, excuses, or chaos, and neither can you. Each month, replace one wasteful habit with a productive one. Cancel that unused subscription. Redirect that spending toward investments. Wake up 1 hour earlier to learn instead of scrolling. Small shifts compound into extraordinary results. You should also track personal key metrics, just like a company tracks profits. Measure your income growth rate, savings percentage, and hours spent on learning or building. You'll be amazed at how awareness alone changes behavior. The moment you begin managing your life like a high-performing business, the outcomes follow naturally. You'll see progress where there was stagnation and control where there was confusion. Remember, habits are the blueprint of destiny. Dreams without structure remain fantasy, but disciplined habits turn them into reality. Wealth doesn't respond to wishful thinking, it responds to consistency. Audit your habits ruthlessly. Correct them quickly and refine them constantly. The person who treats their personal life with professional discipline will always outgrow the person who leaves their future to chance. Because in the end, it's not the big decisions that make you rich. It's the small, daily habits that no one sees, but time rewards faithfully. Most people chase excitement with their money, and that's exactly why they lose it. The truth is, excitement empties pockets, while boredom fills them. Real wealth isn't dramatic. It's consistent. It doesn't shout or sparkle. It compounds in silence. You see, the rich have learned a subtle truth that the crowd often ignores. Money grows best when it's managed in ways that seem almost boring. Predictable, steady, unexciting systems. Those are the ones that build lasting fortune. But in a world obsessed with speed and sensation, people confuse entertainment with investment. When I first started earning more than I needed to survive, I fell into the same trap. I wanted my money to perform miracles. I looked for the next big thing, the hot tip, the sure bet, the opportunity that promised fast returns. And for a while, it felt thrilling. The numbers moved, the market shifted, and I was constantly chasing the next win. But over time, I learned that excitement and anxiety often live in the same house. The highs were high, yes, but the lows were devastating. And the truth began to settle in. The people who build lasting wealth aren't the ones constantly hunting excitement. They're the ones quietly mastering boredom. Boring money means you put your wealth to work in systems that don't demand your constant attention. You invest in things you understand, businesses, real estate, index funds, or ventures that have been proven over time. There's no glamour in it. You won't get to brag about it at a party. But years down the road, when others are still chasing trends and talking about what could have been, your money will have quietly multiplied. It's not luck, it's discipline disguised as simplicity. You must learn to resist the urge for financial entertainment. That's what hype-driven markets thrive on, your emotions. The crowd loves to buy when everyone's talking and panic when everyone's silent. But the wealthy do the opposite. They know that real opportunity rarely arrives with noise. It comes quietly when others are distracted, when prices are reasonable, when the story is boring. Excitement makes people reckless, boredom makes them rich. I've met many people who couldn't sit still long enough to let compounding do its work. They plant a tree and dig it up 2 weeks later to see if it's growing. That's how most treat their money. They move from one opportunity to another, never giving anything time to mature, but compounding. The real magic of wealth needs time and patience, not entertainment. Let your portfolio grow quietly while you focus on creating value elsewhere. Learn to enjoy the stillness of financial maturity, the quiet power of predictability. I once asked a wealthy mentor how he stayed calm during volatile markets. He smiled and said, "Because I only invest in what I understand, and I understand that patience always wins." That's boring money. It's not the thrill of the moment, but the peace of mind that compounds over decades. So, build systems that work in silence. Choose investments you can explain in one sentence. Ignore the noise. Let your wealth grow while you're busy living your life. Because at the end of the day, the game of money doesn't reward excitement, it rewards endurance. And the one who learns to master boredom will always end up owning what the restless could not keep. Money without a mission is like an army without a commander. It wanders, it wastes, and eventually it disappears. You see, money is obedient. It takes orders well, but if you don't tell it where to go, it finds its own way, often into someone else's pocket. The rich understand this truth deeply. Wealth without purpose doesn't last. They give every dollar a job, every resource a mission. Because money without meaning becomes noise, money with direction becomes power. When I was younger, I used to think that the goal was just to make money. That was the game. The more I made, the better I felt. But after a few years of chasing numbers, I realized that money without a why was hollow. It didn't inspire me, it only exhausted me. I was earning, but not progressing. That's when it hit me. Money must serve something greater than comfort. It must serve growth, contribution, and legacy. Without that, even abundance becomes emptiness. So, I began teaching my money to have a mission. I divided every bit I earned into 3 clear purposes. The first part was for growth, investments, education, things that would expand my capacity. The second was for giving, because contribution keeps the soul alive. The third was for living, the part that allowed me to enjoy the fruits of discipline. And when I started doing that, something remarkable happened. Every dollar began to feel meaningful. My spending became a reflection of my values, not my impulses. You must learn to ask yourself, does my money move in the direction of my beliefs or against them? If your spending doesn't match your values, then your money isn't serving you, it's controlling you. Many people buy things to impress others, fund lifestyles they can't sustain, or chase status they don't need. But money is not meant to define who you are, it's meant to serve who you're becoming. When you align it with your philosophy, it begins to amplify the right areas of your life. Money is a tool, a servant, not a master. It was never meant to replace meaning, it was meant to magnify it. When your wealth works for your principles, not your pride, it begins to grow with peace instead of pressure. I've seen people double their income and still live in anxiety, and I've seen others with modest means live with joy and control. The difference wasn't the amount, it was alignment. So, take time to write your philosophy about money. What does it mean to you? What is it for? How do you want it to behave? Treat your finances like a reflection of your life's mission. When your dollars begin to follow purpose, you'll find that abundance flows more easily, not because you chase it, but because it finally knows where it belongs. And remember, the goal isn't to make money your identity, it's to make it your instrument. Give it purpose, give it direction, and soon you'll discover something powerful. When your money serves your mission, your life will never feel out of balance again. You know, at the end of the day, wealth is not about the cars, the houses, or the applause. It's about the person you become in the process of creating it. Because true wealth, real, sustainable wealth, is built from the inside out. It starts not in the bank, but in the mind. It's built through the daily disciplines, the invisible habits, the quiet commitments no one sees. The rich don't just have more money, they have more order, more purpose, more focus. They've learned the laws that govern money, and they respect them. I often tell people success is not something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. You don't chase money, you attract it through discipline, through value, through vision. That's why the rich seem to move differently, they think differently. While most people are reacting to life, they are designing it. While others spend for pleasure, they invest for purpose. While others ask, "What can I get?" they ask, "What can I build that will last?" The secret isn't to wish for fewer problems, it's to wish for more wisdom. Don't pray for easier times, pray to become stronger. The marketplace doesn't pay you for your need, it pays you for your value. And your value grows every time you read a book, learn a skill, start a business, make a plan, or make a sacrifice that most people aren't willing to make. That's how wealth begins. In the quiet moments when you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, creation over consumption. You see, money is a mirror. It reflects your philosophy, your priorities, and your patience. If you give it chaos, it multiplies chaos. If you give it order, it multiplies order. And if you give it purpose, it multiplies peace. That's why the rich never think of money as just currency. They see it as energy, as potential, as a servant that can build dreams, fund impact, and sustain legacy. But it all begins when you decide to lead your money instead of letting it lead you. So as you walk away from this message tonight, I want you to take inventory, not just of your finances, but of your philosophy. What do you truly believe about money? Do you treat it with respect? Do you make it serve a mission? Do you have a plan for where it should go? Or does it wander wherever your impulses take it? Because if you don't design your financial future, someone else will, and you probably won't like their plan. The good news is that wealth is not luck. It's not reserved for the gifted or the chosen. It's built by those who are willing to learn the rules, apply them daily, and stay consistent long enough to see results. It's built by the man or woman who decides that excuses are no longer their language and action is. So here's the call to action. Start where you are with what you have and build from there. Read one book this month. Create a savings plan. Write your 10-year vision in detail. Start an investment account, even if it's small. Teach your children the lessons you're learning today. Let every decision from this point forward move you closer to ownership of your time, your mind, and your destiny. And above all, remember, wealth is not the goal. Freedom is. Freedom to live with intention, to give without fear, to rest without worry, and to die knowing you left more than memories, you left a legacy. Don't rush the process. Respect it. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Stay focused. Stay disciplined. And keep building quietly, wisely, relentlessly. Because one day, you'll look back and realize something beautiful. Money didn't change you. It revealed who you decided to become.